Black Star is one of the first characters introduced in the story of Soul Eater, and over the course of the manga we get to see him go through many trials and tribulations and evolve from a failed assassin to a literal warrior god, and one of the strongest Meisters to ever exist. Today I will be explaining Black Star, his weapon partners Tsubaki Nakatsukasa, and their abilities. Before we get started, it'd be great if you dropped a like on the video for the algorithm and subscribe to see future Soul Eater content here on the channel. About 13 years before the beginning of Soul Eater, Black Star was born from the Star Clan, a clan of assassins that were notorious for doing anything to get money. The Star Clan eventually grew to become power hungry and began eating human souls to increase their strength. Aptly, the DWMA realized this and exterminated the entire clan except for an infant Black Star. Being raised at the DWMA, Black Star learned how to fight and learned the way of assassination from Sid Barrett, making him considerably strong at a young age. Black Star's most impressive attributes, however, are his overwhelming levels of tenacity and confidence in himself. Black Star has an inability to give up on something once his mind is set on it. He always sets out to achieve his goals no matter how many times he fails. However, this level of tenacity and confidence has its downfalls. In early Soul Eater, Black Star's confidence often comes off as baseless and cocky, since he apparently has a record of failing to collect souls but claims he will be the one to surpass the gods. Another downfall of this is that Black Star is simply not built to lose, and in the event where he loses multiple big fights in a row, his confidence shatters and he ends up falling down the cursed destiny of the Star Clan and the path of the demon. The path of the demon is that of those who seek nothing but power just to be powerful and crush those below him. And without having a reason to be powerful, Black Star qualifies for this. On an individual physical level, Black Star has superhuman abilities in every category, being stronger, faster, and more durable than pretty much every other character besides the literal gods in the original strongest Meister, Frankenstein. At his strongest, Black Star is able to perform feats such as lifting and throwing one of the moon's teeth by himself, being noted as the DWMA's fastest Meister, and surviving numerous injuries on the moon and getting back up, such as a broken spine, a broken arm, and swallowing and throwing up a nuke. On a non-physical aspect, Black Star has mastered control of his own soul's wavelength, which lets him perform the Soul Menace technique. Soul Menace is a technique that allows a Meister to utilize their soul wavelength without a weapon in the form of electricity that does internal damage to an opponent. Black Star also has a technique called Black Star Big Wave that utilizes Soul Menace while Black Star attacks an opponent's vital points after catching them off guard. Black Star's weapon partner Tsubaki Nakatsukasa is a shadow weapon that can take the form of multiple different weapons at will. Tsubaki is the perfect weapon for a character like Black Star. Her cooperative and accepting personality makes her the perfect match for Black Star's erratic and unpredictable personality. In my personal opinion, Tsubaki is one of the strongest weapons in Soul Eater, even above some of the death sides. Tsubaki can transform into a multitude of weapons that include a chain scythe, a ninja sword, a giant shuriken, a smoke bomb, and a katana. When put together, Black Star and Tsubaki are one of the greatest Meister and weapon pairs in Soul Eater and gain some quite frankly ridiculous abilities through the use of the different weapons in Tsubaki's arsenal, so I'm going to go over them now. Smoke Bomb mode is, well, exactly what it sounds like. When thrown, Tsubaki will unleash a cloud of smoke that conceals Black Star's movements and lets him escape if he's in a tight spot in battle. Ninja Sword mode transforms Tsubaki into a small blade called a Ninjato and allows Black Star to use the Speed Star technique to greatly increase his speed when fighting. He uses this in situations where he's outnumbered to get an edge on his opponents or to dodge attacks and slip away. Chain Scythe mode seems to be Tsubaki's default transformation in the pre-time skip portion of the story. In this mode, Tsubaki becomes two scythe blades connected by a chain, and Black Star can change the length of the blades and chain at will. The chain can be used to wrap around an opponent's weapon and restrict their movements or disarm them. This mode also has an innate ability called Trap Star. This technique has Tsubaki arrange herself in the form of a star, and then Black Star will use the Way of Assassination to sense his opponent's movements. When an opponent runs into the trap, the chain will tighten and restrict whoever set the trap off. When Soul Resonance is used in Chain Scythe mode, it becomes Shield Star. Much like Trap Star, Tsubaki arranges herself in the shape of a star, but instead of trapping the opponent, it becomes a strong shield. Shuriken mode is exactly what it sounds like. Tsubaki turns into a giant shuriken and can be thrown. It's unknown if either she or Black Star can control the trajectory of the shuriken once it's thrown. Dummy Star is a technique where Tsubaki transforms into a perfect copy of Black Star himself. She doesn't gain any of Black Star's physical abilities, but this is a good trick to use against those who can't differentiate between things such as one's breathing to figure out which copy of Black Star is actually Tsubaki. Uncanny Sword mode has Tsubaki become a katana. This katana has the ability to control the shadows. These shadows can be used through the Shadow Star technique as an extra limb to stop incoming objects or as a means of offense. Instead of Black Star controlling the shadows himself, it's Tsubaki who uses the shadows to assist Black Star when fighting. The downside to this weapon is that the Uncanny Sword carries the will of Nakatsukasa. If this will rejects you for one reason or another, the Uncanny Sword becomes extremely difficult if not impossible to master, and using it by force will wear out one's soul until it burns out completely and kills the user. After being accepted by the will of Nakatsukasa, Black Star gains full mastery over the Uncanny Sword, and gains access to a few new extremely powerful weapons and techniques. The control over shadows is exponentially more fine-tuned and flexible. To start things off, the Uncanny Sword becomes Tsubaki's default transformation, and the rest of the original set of weapons are never seen in the story again. In addition to this, Black Star's main ability becomes Shadow Star, and has multiple variants depending on what weapons are being used. The first of these is Shadow Star First Form Chain of Blackness. This is an enhanced version of Tsubaki's original Chain Scythe form. However, instead of being double bladed, the scythe is now one massive blade and the chain is made of shadows that attach to Black Star himself. Due to this, Black Star can change the trajectory of the blade whenever he wants after throwing it. And since the chain is made of shadows and attached to Black Star, it can always act as a quick form of defense in case the opponent closes in on him after the blade is thrown. Shadow Star's second form, Leaf of the Moonlit Night, is the enhanced version of Tsubaki's Shuriken form. Tsubaki becomes a massive 4-pointed shuriken that can be thrown. Once it's thrown, Black Star can punch through the center of the shuriken and coat his fist in shadows. This will greatly increase the force of Black Star's blows and even give him enough force to crack Krona's black blood. Once the shuriken is around Black Star's wrist, it can spin at great speeds and deliver devastating damage. Shadow Star third form, Severed Shadow, is the enhanced version of Tsubaki's Ninja Sword mode. In this form, Tsubaki becomes a big kunai. The ability this form has is obviously an enhanced version of Speed Star that lets him move so fast that he leaves behind after images that actually have physical presence. Since they are after images, they can't move independently, but can trick the opponent since attacking one will feel like attacking the real Black Star. Shadow Star 4th form, Branched Darkness, is the advanced application of Dummy Star. Instead of just gaining Black Star's appearance, Tsubaki will also gain a portion of Black Star's soul wavelength and some of his strength, not enough for her to be able to fight on her own however. Since Tsubaki knows how Black Star fights, she can perfectly imitate him and trick an opponent to create an opening for the real Black Star to attack. The last form is Shadow Star's 0th form, Masamune. In this form, Tsubaki returns back to a katana. However, these shadows that wrap around the sword to create the other weapon forms now wrap around Black Star himself in the form of a scarf. This scarf can act as a third limb and greatly increase Black Star's versatility in battle. The shadow can help Black Star block and evade attacks, as well as being able to do damage itself. The scarf also has the ability to store things in it, such as Tsubaki herself, and can extend a great range, lifting Black Star into the sky by planting itself in the ground or any object below him. The Masamune form also has a technique called Initiation Technique Infinity, where Black Star slashes his opponent with multiple swords made out of shadow. Later in the series, Black Star becomes able to enter an enhanced state when taken over by the Madness of Power. This will bring out his full potential, but will also make him lose himself unless his mind is maintained by Maka and Soul. As I mentioned earlier, Black Star has an overwhelming amount of tenacity and confidence, and as he grows stronger over the course of the series, it becomes apparent that he can do anything he wants as long as he tries. And not in a metaphorical way either. Once Black Star realizes how important being able to move and fight mid-air is, he teaches himself how to float without the use of Tsubaki. Black Star's ultimate goal is to surpass the gods, and at the peak of his strength he does just that. As if I couldn't do something God can do. The only things I can't do are the things only I can't do. A quote that truly fits this monstrous powerhouse.
Lately I'm feeling so cool. Yeah. Come and get a taste of the hip soul food. Spice up the animal when Neo haiku. While soul goes to school where he slash kung fu.